Okay, I don't think any more students are joining, so let's begin. Um, is uh, Tarun, in the final version, I'll answer your doubts. In the final version, the first 22 are really important. And then I would say even till 60 cue cards, I would call them important actually. Recently, someone was asked the 58th cue card, but the first 22 are really important. Manjeet, once you get task one, it becomes really easy. So task one is scoring, I would say. It gets you more bans. Task two is not in your hands because you don't know sometimes you don't know the points for the S's. So personally, I find task two to be tougher. And I find task one easier. Okay, let's begin with the class then. Can you please answer the homework the homework? The You want me to give you samples for the overalls? I'll do that. I'll share them. Okay, I'll share them. Okay, so let's begin. Uh, I'm starting. If anyone has any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll start now. Okay, we'll start. So remember, the overall. We made two comparisons there. One was between winter and summer. The other one was between the drinks in the overall. And you got the this is the homework. I've taken the homework to be exact. And for hot coffee, we got hot coffee has the maximum sales in winter. You look at winter would be the black line. Black line for hot coffee is the maximum. You look at black lines, for other drinks, they're lower than hot coffee. So hot coffee has the maximum sales in winter. Then you look at the slash line, and that is the highest for iced coffee. So iced coffee has the maximum sale in summer. So you got that as the maximum feature. Then you did the other feature. A lot of you were confused in this, so I'll do this again. So look, now you don't compare hot coffee with iced coffee. You're going to compare the winter and summer sales. So look at winter and summer. Let's do that first for iced coffee. It's more in winter. So winter iced coffee sales, hot coffee sales are more in winter than summer. Then you look at iced coffee, summer is more than winter. Ice cream, summer is more than winter. Soup, winter is more than summer. Salad is the same. Can you see this? Hot coffee and soup, winter is more than summer. Ice cream and iced coffee, summer is greater than winter. The sales are more in summer than winter. And salad the same in both seasons. Is it clear till now for everyone what we did in the overall?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Yes? If you have a doubt, you can ask. Okay. Okay. So now we are going to make a body paragraphs on the basis of the more comparison. We cannot make the body paragraphs on the basis of the maximum comparison because that's impossible. I'll tell you why later. But we are going to make a body paragraphs on the basis of more comparison. So what am I going to do? In the first paragraph, I'm going to talk about the drinks for which the sales were more in winter. Hot coffee and soup. So these will be in my first paragraph. My whole approach to the paragraph will be to show to the examiner that the sales of these drinks are more in winter than summer. Then I'll come to the second BP. In the second BP, I'll talk about iced coffee and ice cream. My whole theme will be to talk about drinks whose sale is more in the summer than winter. So I'll be talking about iced coffee more in summer, ice cream more in summer than winter. And I'll also combine salad anywhere. I can combine salad in the first paragraph or the second paragraph. Wherever you feel comfortable, you can add it up. I normally add it in the second paragraph. So that's going to be my approach. So let's see how I do it. In detail, about 75 servings of hot coffee are sold every day in winter, while only about 30 servings of hot coffee are sold daily in summer. So I did a comparison. When you read this sentence, it becomes clear to you that the sale in summer is less than winter. There's one word, especially that emphasizes it even more. Can you tell me that word that makes it all? Yes.
While.
While, and there's one more word that makes it even more clear. Sorry. What's that word that makes it absolutely clear? Leaves no doubt. That the sale is more in winter and less in summer. What's that one? Which one?
More word.
I didn't use more here, right? Read this.
Only.
Only. See, when I read this sentence, I read 75 servings are sold in winter. When I write only about 30 servings, I come to know it's less. So yes, you're right. Only is the word that makes it very clear. Are you clear? While is also true. But see, while would not, when you read while will not give that clarity. When you read only, that will be clear. And I made an error here. There's no comma after while. So 75 servings of hot coffee are sold every day in winter, while only 30 servings are sold daily in summer. So that only makes it clear. So once I'm clear, I'm going to move to the next one. I'm going to come to soup, and I'm going to show the same thing. Similarly, the sale of soup is also more in winter than summer. I give the same thing, and then I'm going to give the data to prove it. The cafe sells about 50 servings of soup in winter, while its sales in summer is only half of that. If you look at it, 50 and around 25, so half of that. So I mentioned that here. So I'm done with the two drinks for which the sale is more in winter than summer. My length of this paragraph is around 60 words, which is a good length. If you have any doubts, you ask me. Now, when I wrote this, I have some features to mention here. So first, some points that I remember while writing. The first point is plan and write, and not write and plan. A lot of my students just start writing. They don't plan. For me, everything was planned. For me, it was planned. I'm going to talk about these two drinks in the first paragraph. Then I'm going to talk about these two drinks in the second, and I'm going to finish it up with these two in the second paragraph. So I have my whole graph planned, the body paragraphs. I am not writing before planning. So first suggestion is that plan and then write. Don't just randomly write one thing and then follow, then you'll think after writing that line, you'll start thinking, what do I write next? Don't do that. Second thing, please don't focus on sentence variation right now. Let it happen automatically. It will happen automatically once you get comfortable. Please don't focus on that, because if you start focusing on sentence variation, trust me, you are not going to be able to focus on the theme, which I want you to focus on the theme. The third thing I want you to know is focus on the features rather than the data. A lot of students just write sentences with data. For me, this sentence is a good sentence. This is fetching you more vans. Why? This is giving a feature. Similarly, the sale of soup is also more in winter than summer. This sentence is giving a theme to the whole paragraph. I read the first sentence. I came to know hot coffee servings are more in the winter than summer. When I wrote similarly, the sale of soup is also more in winter than in summer, then it becomes clear this whole paragraph theme is about drinks whose sale is more in winter than summer. So focus on features rather than data. Third thing, don't mix comparisons. What do I mean by that? So here, I'm making a comparison between what? Winter and summer, right? If you look at it, here also I'm making a comparison between winter and summer. The sale of soup is also more in winter than summer. I'm not comparing hot coffee with iced coffee. So once your theme is set, you're making a comparison between winter and summer, let it be. Don't try to bring in that. So don't try to tell me hot coffee sales are more than iced coffee in winter. Don't bring in comparison between hot coffee and iced coffee. So just compare winter and summer throughout. Don't mix them up. And plan according to the details. So plan whatever you have decided. So I've decided I'm going to talk about this. So plan according to that. So whatever comparison you're taking. So let's come to the second BP. Here I'll write the line by contrast. I'll do this connector. By contrast shows up.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If the hot coffee is higher here, hot coffee, especially in the winter, is higher.
Yes.
And so why not we compare it just overall maybe that in paragraph 1,
With what?
overall with the salad in the just winter,
Okay.
the hot coffee in the winter is maximum than other salad, other drinks item or something like that. May we use that comparison?
Yes, you can, but what will you do next? The problem with focusing on maximum is you can't follow it up with something else. Then what will you do? Then you do hot coffee. It's more in winter. It's more than everything else in winter. Then you'll talk about what soup. Then you come to soup. Then you'll talk about what's ice cream and salad. Then you'll talk about ice cream. The problem with this approach would be you don't compare the winter and summer at all. And the think about it's more than everything else. We have also done that in the overall. We have mentioned that it was maximum in the overall. So I let it be in the overall. The problem with maximum, right? What's the problem? You can divide all these strings according to more. Think about it. This is more in winter. This is category 1. This is more in winter. Ice cream is more, soup is also more in winter. You can divide. Iced coffee and ice cream, you can also put it in a category because they're more in summer. And then you can put salad in the third category because it's same in both seasons. Now let's talk about maximum. Maximum doesn't let you create categories like that. So this is maximum in winter. What next? So the problem with starting with maximum is you can't follow up the maximum with something else. The comparison just ends there. Come maximum, then what? Then you have to start thinking, what do I do now? Now I compare with summer, or I start going like maximum in winter, then the second maximum in winter, then the third maximum in winter. Then you have to pick up a strategy. You can do that, but then, okay, I'll answer this question. It's a great question actually. Okay, so but let me give. Okay, so either you can have first paragraph only about winter, and then you can have this in order. The first drink in winter, that's hot coffee. Hot coffee. After that, what's the next highest drink? Soup. Second drink. Then you can come to the third drink, which will be ice cream and salad. Both are nearly the same. Third and fourth together. And then finally, you'll have the fifth drink. Third, fourth together. And then finally. So that can be one approach. And then the second paragraph can be for the summer. And again, you can do the same approach. First, second, third, fourth, and then fifth. I have no problems if you do it like this. The problem with this approach, though, is one problem that I face. Why I don't prefer this approach? Making sentences this way is harder. Because you just have to mention this is first, then you'll mention second, then it becomes harder to mention. What about the third, fourth? The sentence variety goes down. You are not able to differentiate between the sentences much in this way. Whereas if you made the paragraphs by comparing winter and summer, the variation comes naturally. So that way I find this approach easier. So this was your point, right? I've mentioned the first. Then you can't do that, right? You're comparing with iced coffee, ice cream, soup, and salad. Then the problem is if you bring comparison with summer, right? It makes it confusing. So my point is if you're comparing with other drinks, then continue comparing with other drinks. Don't mix in the comparisons. That's what I meant here. Don't mix comparisons, focus on one comparison. Either compare winter with summer or compare with other drinks. Don't mix them up together. Otherwise, it becomes very confusing. Did I make sense for you? Did I make sense for everyone? Did you understand his question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Should I repeat it in Hindi or something if someone is not clear? Please let me know. Okay. You want me to repeat it? Fatiha, should I repeat it? Yes. Okay. So I'll take I'll apologize, but I'm going to explain this in Hindi because I feel it will be easier for some students. देखो, अगर मैं हॉट कॉफी को हॉट कॉफी को आइस्ड कॉफी, आइसक्रीम, सूप, सैलेड के साथ कंपेयर करता हूँ ना, तो फिर यही कंपैरिजन रखो. पहले हॉट कॉफी को बताओ कि नंबर 1 था विंटर में सेल्स, फिर सूप को ले आओ नंबर 2, फिर सैलेड को ले आओ, आइसक्रीम को ले आओ नंबर 4, नंबर 3 एंड नंबर 4, एंड फाइनली आइस्ड कॉफी. अगर मैं पहले ये मेंशन करता हूँ आइस्ड कॉफी, हॉट कॉफी का कंपैरिजन करता हूँ आइस्ड कॉफी के साथ, अगली लाइन में हॉट कॉफी का कंपैरिजन करता हूँ कि हॉट कॉफी का समर विंटर में ये था पर समर में इतना था, वो कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाता है. तो मैं ये नहीं चाहता कि आप विंटर को भी करो और समर को भी करो और हॉट कॉफी का आइस्ड कॉफी के साथ भी करो। दो कंपैरिजन अगर आप इकट्ठे करने की कोशिश करोगे तो ग्राफ बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाएगा। सो मेरी अप्रोच ये रहती है, मैं एक ही टाइप का कंपैरिजन करूं, या तो मैं हॉट कॉफी विंटर और समर का करूं, जो मैं कर रहा हूँ। मैं विंटर और समर का कंपैरिजन कर रहा हूँ अपने बॉडी पैराग्राफ में। मैं देख रहा हूँ कि विंटर में ज्यादा है, समर में कम है, विंटर में ज्यादा, समर में कम है, तो मैंने हॉट कॉफी बता दिया, फिर मैंने सूप बता दिया। फिर अगले पैराग्राफ में मैं आइसक्रीम और आइस्ड कॉफी को लेके आ रहा हूँ, क्योंकि इनका समर में ज्यादा है विंटर से, देखो समर में ज्यादा है विंटर से, समर में ज्यादा है विंटर से। फिर ये ले आया, और फाइनली मैं सैलड को ले आया, क्योंकि दोनों का सेम था। अगर अब मैं सैलेड का बीच में सूप के साथ करने लग गया तो वो कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाएगा, मैं भी कंफ्यूज हो जाऊंगा, एग्जामिनर भी कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा। क्योंकि आप एक बार ऐसे करोगे, फिर आप वापस क्या कंपैरिजन पे आओगे, फिर आप वापस सूप, फिर आप विंटर समर का दोबारा लेके आओगे कि दोबारा उसके साथ चलोगे, तो वो टफ हो जाता है। सेकेंड बात मैं ये बोलूंगा, हॉट कॉफी का आइस्ड कॉफी, आइसक्रीम, सूप, सैलेड के साथ करने वाला पैराग्राफ जो बनता है ना, उसकी सेंटेंस जो होती है, स्ट्रक्चर, वो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है बनाना। आई टीच यू हाउ टू मेक इट, बट वो सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट होती है, तो मुझे चीजों के बीच में कंपैरिजन करना डिफिकल्ट लगता है स्टूडेंट्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। वहां पे थोड़े कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंसेस ज्यादा आते हैं बनाने, और स्टूडेंट्स को कंफ्यूज होकर गलत कर देते हैं। सो इसलिए मैं मोर वाले कंपैरिजन पे ज्यादा फोकस करता हूँ रादर देन मैक्सिमम वाले पे। देखो, अगर हॉट कॉफी, आइस्ड कॉफी, आइसक्रीम, सूप और सैलेड का करेंगे तो वो मैक्सिमम वाला कंपैरिजन है। 5 चीजें हैं। विंटर एंड समर कौन से वाला है? मोर वाला। 2 चीजों में, तो 2 वाला कंपैरिजन हमेशा सेंटेंस फॉर्मेशन में इजी रहता है 5 के कंपैरिजन में। तो दैट्स अनदर रीजन। ओके, अब ये क्लियर है? इज इट क्लियर नाउ? Is this approach working for all types of bar graph? For most of the graphs, I'm going to show you the next graph. It will work for most of them, for 90%, not all. It will not work. If there is no more, how would it work, right? So it has to have a more comparison for it to work. Comparison between two things. Okay. So let's go here. Let's finish this up. Then this sentence is really important, and students don't write it, and they write by contrast, and they start giving the data. So when you write by contrast, the examiner doesn't know why you're writing the by contrast. So I clarify to the examiner, the sale of iced coffee and iced coffee and iced ice cream, sorry, is less in winter than summer. So now he knows why I use the by contrast, because for the above paragraph, the sale was more in winter. But for this paragraph, for these two drinks, the sale is less in winter than summer. And then I'm going to just prove it by giving the data. So the number of servings of iced coffee sold every day in summer is 40, while in summer it's less than 5. So I talked about iced coffee, it's 40. In summer, it's less than 5. For ice cream, the difference between the sale in the two seasons is less prominent. For ice cream, the difference is not so much. Like the difference between the sale of the 2 seasons is less prominent, with figures of 35 and 25 in winter and summer respectively. I made an error here. What's the error? Find me the error. You can catch my mistake, tell me. Talveer will do that afterwards. We have done that in the previous class. You can watch the video for that, or I'll repeat the class. But now for let's do this. What's the error here? I did not understand, Devanshu, your point. The while in winter, where do you want me to put while in winter?
Sir, third line.
While in winter, yes, one mistake I made it here. One more mistake I made here. Look at the data. 35 is in winter or summer?
It's in summer.
So yeah, summer should come before and winter should come later. So I made an error here also. Okay, done. Okay, and finally, the sale of salad is nearly the same in both the seasons at nearly 25 servings every day. So I talked about salad at the end. So that's it. See, it's so easy and it's all planned. So the advantage with this method is you don't have to think a lot. So, I planned it out. I'm going to first write about hot coffee, then I'm going to write about soup, because these two winter sales are more. Then I'm going to talk about iced coffee and ice cream because their sales in summer are more. And finally, I'm going to talk about salad. So at every point, you are sure what you're going to write. And your main point in the paragraphs is to just show that their sale is more in winter or their sale is more in summer. That should be your approach. If you write it like that, you'll be doing a good job. If you start bringing the other comparisons in, then it becomes confusing. Okay, I've taken another. Yes, you have a doubt? Anyone has a doubt? Please stop me because you have to write it. Then I tell you to write it and you're confused. It saves me time if you ask me questions here. We can slow down the class and we can cover it up.
Yes, sir, there is no doubt. But the problem is that comparison wherever applicable, that is the question. And then you said that clearly. Okay, compare between the two. Here is okay. And sometimes I confuse what to confuse within that
Okay.
line bar graph or the more bar graph. That is always confusing. So you clarified here.
Okay. So we'll practice one more. So let's see if me teaching you worked or not. So we'll do this. Okay. I'll forget. I won't show you what I've written and I want you to just see this graph. You attempted this in your homework. Okay. So please ignore the right part and focus here. So there are two comparisons possible here. First, tell me which two comparisons. Comparison between what and what? Years. Yes, one comparison is possible between years, right? And the second one, Devanshu?
Books.
Books and audiovisual material. Yes, combined. The material borrowed. Perfect. Good. So what is the word we use for material borrowed? Comparison, because there are 4 types of books.
Maximum.
Maximum, right? And what is the word we use when there are years?
Increase.
Increase, decrease. So again, I will not make the paragraph on the basis of maximum. I'll make the paragraph basis on the basis of increase and decrease. So let's take it increase and decrease. Yes. So let's take the 4 books and 4 materials and let's see what happened to each of them. So let's start with audio visual material. Tell me what's happening. 28, 33, 60. What happened?
Increase.
Increase. Good. Then the second one, children's book, 107, 114, 104.
Decrease.
Decrease, or you can even take it fluctuate. It increased first and then decreased. So both are right? There's an increase and then there's a decrease. You can take it a fluctuate also. Take it. Okay, next. Adult nonfiction, 113, 161, 110.
Significant decrease.
Significant decrease. You're right, but decrease. 330, adult fiction, 330, 280, 230. Decrease. So now what I did, I wrote it here. Children's book borrowing fluctuated. These 2 books decreased and this book increased. So what did I do? First paragraph, I'm going to talk about the 2 books whose sales decreased, adult fiction and non-fiction. Second paragraph, I'm going to start with the borrowing of audiovisual material because it increased. And then finally, I'm going to talk about children's books borrowing that fluctuated. So let's see. And I'm going to make the whole like this in detail. And you're just going to give the data and we're going to finish it up. So let's see. In detail, nearly 113 million adult nonfiction books were borrowed from libraries in 1995. So nearly 1,113 million audio nonfiction books were borrowed from libraries in 1995, which fell significantly. So even I mentioned this, someone else also told me there was a big decrease. So I also wrote this, which fell significantly to 161 million. It's a big jump. So definitely should write the word like significantly to 161 million in 2000 and further to 1110 million, 110 million in 2005. So I'm done with the book 1, which is adult nonfiction. Then I come to the second book. Again, I'm going to talk about a book which had a decrease, adult fiction. So I'm going to use a connector likewise. Likewise, the borrowing of adult fiction books also went down. So you look at it, also went down from 330 million to 230 million. This time I didn't feel like mentioning the 280 million. In the first one, I did mentioning the first one. Why? Tell me the reason. Why did I mention the 161 million for the non-fiction, but I did not mention 280 million for adult fiction? Think.
Ratio is quite same, so
Yeah, it's
decrease.
the decrease is quite at a normal pace. 330
Yeah.
to 50 But here it's a big drop.
Yes.
Yes, it's a big drop if that's clear to everyone. So I did mention the second year. I felt like mentioning it. My choice here. Inclined, inclined is a synonym for declined is a synonym for decrease. Inclined is a wrong word. You don't use it in your graph. So I wanted to clarify this. A lot of you do this mistake. Please do not use the word inclined. Inclined does not mean increase. I'll open the dictionary up. You can open the dictionary up anywhere. Inclined does not mean increase. We think that it does because decline does mean decrease. So declined is a decrease, inclined is not an increase. So please avoid the word inclined. And declined, you can use it as a synonym for decrease anywhere. Wherever you use decrease, you can use the word declined. But you cannot use the word inclined because it does not mean increase. Okay. Then I did a by contrast and I told why I'm doing a by contrast. I explained to the examiner why, because the borrowing of audio video materials rose over the given decade. So audio visual materials, it rose. And then I gave the data to prove it. Only about 28 million audio video materials were borrowed in this year, while in 2005, the figure stood at 60 million. So I'm done with this. I've given the data, I've proved that it increased. Then finally, the borrowing of children's books fluctuated over the given period. Children's books fluctuated. It stood at 107 million in 1995. And over the next 5 years, it rose to 114 million. Over the next 5 years, it rose to 114 million before falling to 104 million in 2000, before falling to 104 million in 2005. So it rose to this value before falling to 104 million in 2005. So we are done. So this is the fluctuated one. This is the increased one. These two are the decreased ones. Again, I planned my whole approach beforehand, and then just I'm telling to the examiner what happened. My focus is not on the data, it's on trends. If you look at it, it clarifies. You'll read this paragraph and you'll understand that that the borrowing of these two books decreased. When you read this paragraph, you'll understand that the borrowing of an audiovisual material increased. And finally, you'll understand that the borrowing fluctuated. So you want to clarify this, and that's how you write this. What's my plan? My plan is to first mention the decreasing ones. So my decreasing ones were adult nonfiction and adult fiction. I'll finish the books which saw a decrease. Then I'll talk about the book which saw an increase. So after this and this, I'm going to talk about adult audiovisual materials because they had an increase. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the book which saw a fluctuation. The borrowing saw a fluctuation. That is children's books. So my plan was first I'll talk about decrease, then I'll talk about increase, and then I'll finally talk about fluctuate. So that was my plan. And then I just gave the data to prove it and show the examiner. Is it clear? Yes. So I am not writing and then thinking. A lot of you do that, right? I see my students in my institute. I don't know about you all, but then I give my students to write. What they do is they come to me after writing one sentence. What do we write next? I said, this is the wrong place to ask me, what do I do next? Go back to the first line and then ask me, what do I do? I can tell you. I can't tell you in the middle of the graph what to do next, because only you should know what you are going to do next. You planned your graph. Okay, so don't come to me in the middle. Start from the beginning and then follow. Yes.
Sir, one question.
Yes.
Because that one paragraph you use for decrease and the one for fluctuated, okay, and then so may we use the topic sentence for separating two paragraph?
We have used it. See. See.
Yeah, yes, you use, but we are using here indirectly. If we write those in directly, okay, the paragraph one, the trend shows decreasing, something like that, and then for in contrast, this shows the fluctuated situation. Can we write it? Although
You can write it.
paragraph are very good. Yes.
Yeah, but it'll become repetitive because then you'll show the same thing in the body paragraphs too. And then it'll be like, it'll be like spoon. Yeah, I think let the examiner will understand that while he's reading. And we have a problem. We have 150 words. So I am worried that you might exceed the 150 word limit by a huge margin if you do that. And you will not have space for the task 2. You will not have time for the task 2. It's not a problem if you write 180 words, 190 words, not a problem. In fact, one of my students recently scored 7.5 bands. He had written a 250 word graph. It's not a problem, but then you won't find time for your essay. That's the issue that I'm worried about. And secondly, it's going to become repetitive. So it becomes clear when you read the first paragraph, it's clear you're talking about the increasing ones. Then when you read the second paragraph, but the second paragraph theme is not clear, right? It's only for one book, there's an increase, and finally there's one for fluctuated. So there's not a single theme actually. The theme also changes in the first line for the first one and the second one. So it's not exactly a theme here exactly also. In the last one, also there was not a theme because in the first one, winter was more. In the second one, summer was more, but we had also talked about salad, for which it was the same. So it's not a problem, but if you do that, make sure it's done well and it doesn't sound repetitive. You have to avoid coming off as repetitive. That's the only thing you should be worried about. I hope that answers it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, well understood.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else has doubts now? Because my class, by contrast or while in fluctuated or stable. Where do you want to write by contrast? Here? This is where you were asking? Okay. I don't know, Devanshu, where you're asking. So clarify, then I can answer. Okay. Can I use overall or in BPs? Okay. You can write at any place. Can I write while here or no? Tell me. While does the same job. Can I write while here or no? That's the question for everyone. Think and answer.
No, sir.
No, Jasleen says
No,
no.
sir.
No. Why not, Kritaman?
Because
It's a while is joining the sentence, like.
Yes, we cannot use while and understand. You're right. I'll explain it for others who don't know. See, while joins sentences. While does a comparison, but while also joins sentences. By contrast, makes a comparison without joining the sentences. So let's take it again. Sale of adult fiction and non-fiction books. I'm typing quick, so I'll make some grammatical errors. Please don't ignore them. And sale of fiction and non-fiction books decreased. And we have a second sentence, sale of, I'm calling them sale also, not boring. Sale of audio visual material increased. Now you want to talk about them, you can compare them using a while or you can compare them using a by contrast. It's in your hands. You can use whatever word you want. You can even use but or however. There are multiple words. I'm telling you right now the difference between while and by contrast. So what does while do? While makes a comparison. Of course it does, but it combines the sentences as well. So it became one sentence now. So there is a comparison. It has to be decrease and increase. Otherwise, I couldn't use while. Decreased and then increased. And it's joined into one sentence now. So that's a while. If you didn't want to join the sentences, you wanted to make a separate sentence. You're done here. Then you could use by contrast. So what's the difference between by contrast and while? By contrast doesn't join sentences. While does join sentences. Both make comparisons. Please understand that. By contrast does that without joining the sentences. While does that in addition to joining sentences. So you cannot use them interchangeably like that. If you want to, you can, but then start a new sentence or join the sentences. Here, it can only be by contrast because I'm changing the whole paragraph. Forget the sentence. I'm bringing a new paragraph. So of course, it's a new line. So I cannot use while here. I could have used though, on the other hand. That word is correct. That also does the same function as by contrast. So you could have used on the other hand. If you have a misconception, you cannot use this word in graph. Yes, there are 3 degrees or 1 stable. Yes. Okay. So tell me, first paragraph, tell me, what do you, Devanshu, you have to give me a proper question. I'm not understanding. There are 3 degrees or 1 stable. Okay. In the first paragraph, I mentioned the 3 degrees. Then I mentioned the 1 stable. Like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he has a question. If we have 3 degrees, okay. So all of you are going to answer it. 3 degrees, one increase or 1 stable. What are you going to do? Tell. Tell.
While by contrast,
Paragraphs. How would you divide it into paragraphs? First, answer this.
three decrees will come in one paragraph,
Okay.
but
You can have three in one para. Yes. And in the second para, you can have
stable.
table. Good. That's one approach. Any other approach, anyone?
Sir, we can check the decreases, which
Yes.
one has similarities together. We can write both two like in one paragraph, and the
Yes.
third one has a big difference. We can write it with the stable one in the second paragraph.
Yes. So that's another thing you can do, 3 decreases. I'll tell you a simple approach. You don't need to make one paragraph. So I mentioned 2 decrees in the first one. I'll start my second paragraph with likewise, not with by contrast. And I'll also mention the decrees here, the third decrease. After I'm done with the third decrease, I'll mention a by contrast, and then I'll talk about the fourth one, which was stable. So you don't have to start a paragraph with by contrast. Understand this. You can start a paragraph with likewise. So first paragraph, 2 decreased. It continues in the second paragraph. Likewise, the third also decreased. Then finally, you can come to the by contrast, the fourth one, which was stable. So your by contrast location does not necessarily need to be at the beginning. It will come where it makes sense. Here it's making sense because the earlier 3 ones decreased. Now we are talking about the one that's stable. So we'll use it here. Is it clear? And this approach is also fine. You can mention the 3 decrees in the first one. Then you can start the second paragraph with by contrast and do the stable one. I hope that clarifies it. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. No one is forcing you to start a paragraph with by contrast. You don't do that. You put a by contrast if the trend is different. If the trend is the same, you're not going to use a by contrast. I hope that's clear. Okay. Any other doubts? Please ask. Otherwise, I'm done. I'm going to give you a task to write and then that's it. I'm done. My class was supposed to be short today.
Sir, our main problem is that after this, when we have suppose more than 2 bar graph in one group, what we can do, because suppose comparing between winter and summer is like very easy to understand and we can handle it. But like when it's suppose like this one, last one, when
Yes.
they are 3 together and like more than like 4 or 5 groups.
Okay, tell me, Nafisa, is this easy for you, no? Or no? This one. Will it be difficult or easy?
Sir, it's a bit more complicated. I need to think. Miss, that one is very easy, the previous one, but this one I need to think
Okay,
more about that.
let's make it easy. Okay, let's start with Central Amusement Park. What are you going to write? Fluctuate or decrease?
Let's fluctuate.
Okay, so Central Amusement Park fluctuate. A national park.
National Park and National Gallery both are increased.
Okay, second and third and decrease. Okay, fourth
Science
one.
Park is a fluctuation.
Fourth
And
one.
Central Park. Yeah, Science Park. Science Park is fluctuation again. And Central Zoo is obviously like
stable.
same.
Okay. Can you change the first one to fluctuation too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that. Let's make it fluctuation to make our job easier. So now what do we do? If he said doesn't make it easy, what combine them now? First and fourth together, fluctuation. Can you do that?
So we go for first and fourth together in one paragraph,
Yes.
and the increase of second and third in another paragraph, and finally adding a stable to the end of the second paragraph.
Yes. So didn't become
Yeah, but sir, actually, I mean like the one like inside. I mean like inside the paragraph. I mean like plan is clear, but
yes.
like
Oh,
there are
okay.
3.
Let's talk about fluctuation. Okay. So let's talk about Central Amusement Park. It starts at 25. I'll write that. It started at 25, then it decreased to 20, and then it increased. So I'll talk about it like that. Or let's talk we'll talk about increase once. Then we'll bring fluctuation later. So let's bring in fluctuation later. Let's first talk about the increase ones. Okay, sorry. Okay, so first I talk about national park. It becomes very easy. It increased. It started at 10 and then it increased to 17. Done. Then I start with National Gallery. It started at 7 and it increased to 20. Done. I don't need to mention the middle years. It's fine. I can directly jump from the first year to the last year, first year to the last year, and I'm done. Then I'll finish with the central zoo. Why I'm going to finish with the central zoo in this paragraph, not the next paragraph? Because these ones are increased. They are short sentences. They won't be long because increase. I'm skipping the middle year also. So I have short paragraphs. So why not add central zoo here? And then I'll talk about central zoo. It remains stable. I'm done here. Then I'll come to the second BP. I'll talk about by contrast. Then I'll talk about fluctuated. The number of visitors to this place and this place, Science Park, fluctuated. Then I talk about the first year. In the first year, it was 25 million. It fell to 20 before increasing to 22 million in the final year. In case of Science Park, it first increased from 11 million to this value in the second year, and then it decreased to this value. And I'm done. So it's easy. We are thinking too much about it. Don't think too much first. So first year.
Sir, if the bar charts are not a timeline, I mean, like, see, now bar charts are like years, so it's a bit easy to like
All
like
the graphs are
assemble.
easy like this. I'll show you tables also. The same approach.
I mean, like, see, previous one was winter and summer. Okay, so there is no time sequence in that. So we compared any item winter and summer.
Yes.
Suppose I remember,
Yes.
yeah, this one. Suppose hot coffee winter and summer.
Yes.
Or suppose like ice cream winter and summer. We
Yes.
did like that. But now what we're going to do if it's like like it has 3 bars in each group and there is no timeline, means like there is no time sequence for that, then what we're going to do?
Okay. First of all, there are very few graphs like that. So first understand that there are very few graphs like that. And then also you can make a time, you can make it according to some feature. In the whole book, I have a book with 90 bar graphs. There will be total 10 graphs, which will be like that, will be that complicated. In that case, you write it in a simple manner. You take one thing, you finish it off. So for example, you have hot coffee, you finish it off. Then you come to iced coffee, you finish it off. Where there are multiple things and you're not able to make comparisons, you just take one and make it together. You combine it up. You try to find some feature you can base your paragraphs on. If you cannot find some features, you write it simply. That's it. Do not worry about it. Do not stress about it. But I took 7 examples right now, 3 these and 3 more in the passage. Sorry, 6 examples. All the 3 can be explained. So please explain 1, 2 table graph, please. Okay. So like that, Nafisa, so it becomes simple. So let's come to the previous one. Does it look complicated? Tell me now.
No, sir.
No. We decided we'll make the paragraph based on increase and decrease. You remember? The year ones, we talked about it. For the years, we'll make the comparison in the body paragraph.
Okay, so
Okay, so just make it on the basis of years. Take full fat milk. Let's take supermarket A first. Let's take both the milks. We'll start at which year? 2008. Started. This is 70. This is 72. So tell me, all of you tell me, where will you start? Where will you put a break? Where will you go next? Where you'll stop? Tell me some year we'll stop. Where the trend changes. Tell me a year where the trend changes.
2010.
2010 can be a great year. So you mentioned both of them together till 2010. So this is decreasing, this also decreased. Although this remains stable from here, it's okay. I don't need to write all the features, I can write the main features. So I talked about both of them decreased till here, this point. Okay, so I wrote first year, this was the value, both of them decreased. Then what happened? This increased. Okay, this increased and then decreased. What happened to this? This continued to decrease and reach this value in 2012. So I'll finish that. So I'll divide it according to those years and I'll mention it. Here, what I'll do, I'll mention till here. This increased, this remains stable. Then both of them decreased. I will not think much and I'll just write both of them decreased. Remember, you can skip some features because you want to write only the main features, and you can skip some features. The point is till here, it's increasing, till here, it's stable. After them, both of them are decreasing. That's okay. If it increased, it slightly decreased, it remains stable. It's okay. You can miss some features. So you make things simpler like that. You have to avoid certain details that make your graph complicated, but that's so rare. Don't think it'll happen every time. Normally it's simple.
Sir, what is your plan now for this? Please just tell me. In the paragraph 1, you compare what, and the paragraph 2, what did you write?
So first I'll talk about supermarket A, paragraph 1. Is that clear? So B paragraph
Yes.
is supermarket, second paragraph supermarket B, first paragraph supermarket A. Is it clear? That much?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Then in the supermarket A, what I'll do is, hold on. Okay. In the supermarket A, I think I'm going to have a division at 2010. What do I mean? I'm going to stop at 2010. I'm going to start from 2008 and I'm going to write what happened till 2010. Is it clear? What happened?
Yes.
Both of them
Stable.
decreased, right? 72 to 68
Decrease.
decreased. Is it clear? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I'm going to talk about what happened after 2010. So I'm going to divide my first paragraph. Okay, Kashish, let's do it. Let me write it. So she told me to write it, so I'll write it. Okay, let's start. And let me clear this. And I'll make it simple for you. So if you have a doubt anywhere, please stop me. Okay. So in detail, the prices of full fat milk and low fat milk were 70 and 72 pence per liter in supermarket A in 2008. Is it clear? This line, first line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I'm going to come till 2010. What happened over the next 2 years? Over the next 2 years,
Sir, respectively. No?
respectively, and I will add that. Okay. Over the next year, the prices decreased for both the milks and stood at 68 pence per liter in 2010. I'm done. Okay, then after that, I'm going to talk about what happened after 2010. After 2010, I can skip this and I'll directly go to this. It increased. The price for low fat milk increased while the price for full fat milk decreased. If I want to make a short paragraph, I can do this. If I want to elongate it, I can also talk about it increased and then decreased. Okay, I'll do the complicated approach. First increased and then decreased. Okay. After 2010, the price of full fat milk decreased and reached what did it reach? 66 pence per liter in 2012. I'm done with the full fat milk. Now I'll talk about low fat milk. By contrast, the price of low fat milk first increased to 72 pence per liter in 2011 before falling to 70 pence per liter in 2012. So that's it. If I miss something, tell me. Otherwise, I'm done with this paragraph. It took me only 2 minutes because I planned it out, right? I planned it out. Yes, you can have the same speed. So what did I tell? I planned it out, right? I said I'll talk first from here to here. Done. Then what I'll do after that, I'm done. I'm not talking about 2009 at all. I'm directly coming from 2008 to 2010. I decided I'm not going to mention this. So I don't have any doubts. Then I'm going to mention this increased and this fell while this continued to fall further and reach this place. That's it. Okay. Is it clear? Does anyone have a doubt? This paragraph. Do you want to write the next one with me? Nafisa, do you have a doubt? Would you like to write
So
the,
before here, we can use article there, yeah? Or no? We can.
where?
In the history comparative article there. Last line.
Yes. Which line?
Yeah, falling to 70, last line, falling to 70 pence per
Yes.
liter. So 2012.
That should not count. Anything else?
I think supermarket A should be written in line
Yes.
1.
Yes. That I missed. I wrote it really quick. I made some errors. Okay. So that's why,
No problem, sir. This is human error.
yes, I am not okay. With regard to supermarket, that's my connector for the second paragraph. I'll start. Now my plan was what? I'll put a break at 2009. I'm not putting a break at 2010 here. I'm putting a break at 2009. So what happened? So first I'll tell the price in the first year. The price of both milks started at around 68 pence per liter in 2008. That's it. Sentence 1 is clear. Then I'll talk about what happened till 2009 and I'll make a comparison because this is increasing, this is remaining stable. Okay. So in the next year, the price of which milk? Low fat milk increased by 2 pence per liter, while the price of full fat milk remained unchanged. Is anyone, no, I'm not writing it again.
So we can use a staple also here.
Yeah, remain stable, same thing, yes. Okay, are you clear? Where are we standing right now? 2000?
Yes.
2009.
9.
Okay, then from 2009 to 2012, I'll directly come here. From 2009 to 2012, the prices of both the milks fell and went down and reached, let's do
64.
64. First, I'm talking about low fat and full fat, low fat and full fat, or okay. Reach 64 for low fat and a liter for low fat and 62 pence per liter. Done. If I miss something, you tell me. I could have made, I'll reread it once so that I take out my small mistakes. With regard to supermarket, the price of both the milk started around this. No, it's not regards. If I put a regards, it'll put an error. It should. Okay, what it started doing, I learned this. If I put a regards, it says it wants to have a plural here. So I used to put regards. Then I started putting with regard for singular and with regards for plural, because it used to put a grammatical error here. Regards will come, yes. So I used to put regards, Justine. I also think it should be regards, but then my word told me it shouldn't be, so I changed it. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. I haven't missed anything. Okay. Tell me if you have a doubt. Start writing, then you have problems, then you ask me. Liter can be write L only? Yes, you can write L only. Units, you can use short forms. You don't need to use full forms for units.
Sir, one thing, because
Yes.
that we repeated the unit, and is it any problem or in
Not at all.
getting good pen or no
Not at all.
difference?
Not at all. You should repeat it. Not repeating it would be wrong. We'll see that. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'll open some 9-band graphs. Just one graph, okay? I just want to show that so that it builds your confidence up, and you don't worry about it.
Because if I write the unit in the introduction section, maybe that the measurement, and I was guessing that there is no need of keeping that unit in the body paragraph.
No, we should repeat it. I'm taking a random. Okay, this doesn't have units. Yeah, 50 million. See, so it has units, millions. See, does she use million every time or no? 50 million, 30 million, 10 million, 4 million, 3 million, 9 million, 2 million. So we are going to repeat it. We are not going to do that. Is it clear?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, that should not be a doubt. Okay, that should be clear. Don't worry. This is a 9-band essay. Has she written it's a 9-band? She normally says it's a 9-band essay. Okay, she hasn't called it a 9-band essay, but it's written by Liz. She's a very popular author. It's at least an 8-band essay. Okay. Any other doubts? Million or millions? Units, you don't need to use plural. I don't use plurals in million. Units may, she is using, you don't use that. I don't use units may plural, you don't use. 5 kgs, you don't, 5 kg. Kg is perfectly fine. So I read that somewhere. You don't use plural in units. So don't worry about that. Okay. Okay. Do you want to see her? What did she wrote? What did she write? Let's pick up her graph. Okay. She has 2 graphs. Okay. What will you do? What will be the feature you'll pick up from the first one? You can pick 2 features. What 2 features?
I think
More
we need to make the graph in one body paragraph and the bar chart in the second body
Yes. Okay.
paragraph.
Yes. For overall, we'll take one feature. Which feature you want to write in the overall from the first graph?
Increasing trend for all.
For both. Okay. Visits
Yeah.
abroad by UK residents and visits to the UK by overseas residents both increased. Visits by UK residents abroad also increased. Visits to the UK by overseas residents also increased. Okay. That can be one. And you can also say visits abroad by UK residents is more than visits to the UK by overseas throughout the period.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. You can say this is more than this throughout the period. One feature you'll write from this graph, either you write both increased or you write this was more than this. Your wish, whatever one you want to write. Okay, from this graph, it's only one feature you can write. What is that one feature?
Maximum number.
Was from France and minimum was from?
Turkey.
Turkey. That's it. So let's see, what did she write in her overall? Overall, there was an increase in the number of visits to and from the UK, and there were more visits. She wrote both the things. And there were more visits abroad by UK residents than visits to the UK by overseas residents over the given period. She wrote both the features. She said both increased, and this was more than this. We discussed both. I wish you should have written one, but you could have also written 2. Okay, she wrote 2. That's okay. Then let's see. Furthermore, the most popular country to visit by the UK residents was France. and most popular country was France. She did not mention the least visited country among them was Turkey. That's fine. She said the most visited one among the 5 countries was France. That's okay. Okay. So she wrote 1 feature here and 2 features here. That's okay. So what will she do here? Where will she put a break, or will she put a break or directly go from starting point to ending point? Plan for the line graph. Tell me, what will you do? Will you put a break here, or will you directly go from
Yes.
here to here?
No, sir. First one break
Break.
here in 1984, and then
Okay.
we will write
Continue.
about the increase.
Okay, Nisha, what will be the difference? Why did you put a break here? Is the trend the same or different? Is the
So
trend
here is little mold, so that's why.
here? It's an increase. Here it's also an increase. What's the difference between the 2 increase?
So it's
Sir, the first one is the slide, the
Significant,
second one
significant. Yeah.
Yes,
explanation.
you're right. It's a slight increase. It's a sharp increase.
Yeah.
For me, even if you put a break, it's fine. Even if you don't put a break, it's fine. It's not big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. But let's put it a slight increase till this year. 1986. We'll take it 1986. And then after 1986, there was a sharp increase. Let's see what she did. Okay, the number of you visiting UK residents overseas began at just under 15 million in 1979 and rose significantly to reach over 50 million in 1999. She did not put a break. She went from here till the end. So she started at around, what did she say? How much? 15 million, just under 15 million. And then she finished here. That's it. Done. 1 sentence and she's done. Then she made 1 more sentence for this. This started at 10 and then this finished at around 28. Okay, done. Around 10 million people visited the UK in the first year before climbing steadily to just under 30 million by the final year. So she has done both the sentences. She's mentioned the first sentence. She's mentioned the last one. She's given the trends that they increased. That's it. Done. Then she came to the second paragraph. What will you do? Where will you start with? Second paragraph. Tell me, which country?
France.
France.
France में
Okay.
ज़्यादा है क्योंकि
France
and
में
then
सबसे ज्यादा है. Yes, not ज्यादा,
Right.
सबसे ज्यादा. Yes. Then
Then Spain.
Spain.
what will you write about Spain?
Followed.
Less than.
You can say slightly less than, or you can say followed by. You
Followed
can
by.
use any.
Followed
Okay.
by would be the right word.
Yes, followed by would be the right word. Slightly less also works. Both are correct. Then US, Greece, and Turkey. You can talk about these 3 countries. Significantly less, can I say? From Turkey,
Yes.
Greece, and US, the residents were considerably less than Spain and France. Can I say that? Because it's quite less. Can I say that? Is it clear?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to give the data. I'm just telling them that the number of visitors from these 3 countries were quite less, were big difference between the visitors from France and France. Let's see what she has done. France was visited by over 10 million UK residents, followed by Spain at approximately 9 million. She has given by France and then she has used the word Spain. The US and Greece had about 4 million and 3 million visitors respectively. And the least popular country visited was Turkey, which had only about 2 million UK residents going there. And the least popular country was Turkey, which had only about 2K million residents going there. So that's it. From top to the bottom. She has not repeated the word maximum here. Remember that. I tell you sometimes not to repeat it. The same thing if here, she has not repeated that this was the maximum because she had already told that thing in the body paragraph. Okay, is it clear?
There are 2 type of graphs. In overall, we have to write it separately, right? We shouldn't combine both graphs together.
No, we have combined both of them together. One overall, separate sentences, yes.
Yeah, separate sentences.
Yes, you have to write separate sentences. Can you please give the overview of where to start and where to end for what? For the second BP or the first graph or the second one?
I think we start from the first one.
No, Kashish is asking for both. Okay, so first paragraph I talk about this graph, okay, the line graph, Kashish. I'll start with 1979. I'll give the data for 1979. What is the data? Around 15 million for the top line. And then you can also give the data for the second line, 10 million, or so you can give the data for both of them. This is around 15 million. This is around 10 million. Then you tell both of them increased and you give the data for the final year and you're done. So first line and the second line, both of them, you can give the data for the first year. You can tell me both of them increased and you can finish at the last year. Is it clear? For the first graph, both of them, data for the first year, both increased. The data for the last year, that's it, done, nothing else. Okay, then you come to the second graph. You'll talk about the second graph. Then you'll say France, the number of visitors, the number of people who visited France was this much, around 12 million. It was followed by Spain by this much. So you talk about France, then you talk about Spain. The next highest country was Spain. You give the data for that. Then you can give the data. You can write a feature that US, Greece, and Turkey, the number of visitors to these countries were significantly less than Spain and France. And then you can give the data, the number of visitors to the US and Greece were this much and this much respectively. And only about these many people visited Turkey. And you can finish it like that. From highest to lowest, you can go. Highest is France, second highest Spain, then US, then Greece, then Turkey. So you go from this order to this order, decreasing order, downward order. Is it clear? Anyone
So,
has?
but in
Yes.
in
Yes,
Yeah.
good, sir.
sir, but in overall we include both the graphs,
Yes,
right?
you write one feature for both of them. She has
Okay,
written
sir.
2 features for the first one, but at least one feature from both of them she should have written. At least one, you can write more. If you can write in short, why not?
And then separately, right? Then
Body
separately
paragraph
we can.
separate, yes. Body
Yeah.
paragraph separate, yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anyone else has a doubt? So it's the same the way we write. This is repetition. She's going to write, okay, think about visitors. You are going to change the word visitor so many times. I want to show you something. I can't, can I? No, it won't allow me. I wish I could, but if you can count, please count the number of words she has used, number of times she has used the word visits. Visits, 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 visit, visiting, visited, visited, visited. So repetition is a thing you all have made in your head that we can't repeat words. It's in your heads. You have to let go of it. The quicker you let go of it, the better it will be for you. I don't mind repeating. I've told this. When I said this, right? I said, don't worry about sentence variation. Don't worry about repetition at all. It does not help you. Focus on the themes. Focus on the themes, you'll write a better. We'll write both separately. Yes, Kashish, both separately. This is line graph. This is bar graph. Both of them are separate. Body part overall, one feature from both of them. Okay. Any other doubts? Now try writing and then worry about other things. You will not find problems. Try writing. When you find problem, then ask me. So this graph I'll explain in the class.
Sir, but in paraphrasing, what we write, like line graph or bar graph?
In this, both.
Both.
Yeah, the line graph and the bar graph. Or
Acha.
you can write the line graph shows this while the bar graph shows this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. The way she has done is a good way. The line graph illustrates this while the bar graph shows this. You can do that.
Okay.
Or you can write the line graph and the bar graph depict this and this.
Okay.
Okay. So I would have written the line graph. See, the line graph shows the number visits to and from the UK. From the line graph shows the number of people from the UK who visited other countries and the number of people who visited UK from other countries. So that's what the line graph is showing. The number of people from the UK who visited other countries and the number of people who visited UK from other countries. While the bar graph shows the 5 most popular countries visited by the UK citizens, UK residents. That's it. Okay. I hope it's clear. Yes, body paragraph separately. Okay. Any other doubts? Okay. Okay. So we'll have a table graph class. Jasleen told me she wants to do tables before we finish. So tables will have tomorrow. I'll try to have a short class for GT reading. I'll try to have today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow tables. I'll try to have it. Okay. So I don't have to do anything, you know. I just have to show you that everything is the same. There's no difference. It's a table, it's a line, there's no difference. My strategy remains the same. That's all that I have to show you, nothing else. Maps is different, Vishali. Maps and process is different. That I've done maps. Can you please predict graph on 7th October exam? Give me one day, I'll put it in the group, Jasleen. Okay, let me think about it today. Okay, so I'll end it here. Ma'am will take the class at 7:30. You have a 10-minute break. Okay, see you all tomorrow. You're welcome. See you all tomorrow. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good night.